Good morning and welcome to the St. Louis Regional Freightway's 4th annual Take Flight Forum and to Bi-State Development's headquarters. I'm Mary Lamy, the Executive Vice President of Multimodal Enterprises. We're excited to be reconvening the directors of the region's 5 busiest airports for today's event. This year, we are also joined by representatives of leaders from regional STEM and flight training programs to talk about advancements and initiatives in the aviation industry. So a couple of housekeeping. I think most of you have found the coffee and the pastries in the back. Take time and go ahead and grab some of that. And then restrooms are down the hall past the elevators and to the left. So today's program, it gives us a great opportunity to continue to focus our attention on the St. Louis region's leadership in aerospace and aviation innovation. Our region is home to more than 60 aerospace manufacturing businesses that together employ over 18,000 people, with an average annual salary exceeding $133,000. Over the past 5 years, aerospace manufacturing employment here has grown by 7%, outpacing the national growth rate of just over 4%. Beyond that, nearly 331,000 people work in industries that support aerospace manufacturing, a powerful reminder of how deeply this sector drives our regional economy. Our region's concentration of aerospace jobs is nearly 4 times the national average, and productivity per worker is more than 5% higher than the national benchmark. All of this helps explain why the region continues to attract investment. More than $5 billion in projects recently completed or underway are strengthening our airports, expanding manufacturing capacity, and creating even more high-quality jobs. Beyond the 1,000 new aerospace jobs being added from those investments, this growth will spark even more opportunity. We're going to need builders, airport crews, and countless others in industries boosted by the ripple effects of this expansion. At last year's event, we celebrated the launch of the St. Louis Regional Aerospace and Aviation Task Force. Since then, the task force has been hard at work building the pipeline for our future workforce. In August, we introduced the Aerospace Manufacturing and Aviation Careers Map. It's a tool that helps high school students and career seekers find their path into this dynamic industry. These roadmaps highlight career options, earning potential, and the need that helps them with success. This is all available at aerostl.org. We want every student to know that there's a great career within reach, whether it's a $50,000 job right out of high school, nearly $100,000 with a few years of training, or a 6-figure salary with a targeted degree. And today we're excited to hear directly from those investing in our region, the people creating these opportunities and inspiring the next generation of aerospace and aviation professionals. So before I get this started, I do want to recognize we have the mayor of Washington, Missouri, Doug Hagedorn. Doug, you want to raise your hand? We also have Pete Kephart. Pete, we've got you. I want to recognize the two of them because today they are both representing the Washington Regional Airport, so welcome. We also have a few high school students, college students, and even a recent pilot grad. So I'm not going to ask you to say anything, but if you don't mind, can you just raise your hand? That's all I'm asking you to do. All right, perfect. And I'm going to encourage you, number one, thanks. I'm going to encourage you, if you have not already done it, to take advantage of this opportunity to introduce yourselves to our airport directors and some of the other professionals we have in our audience. This is just a great opportunity for you to kind of pick their brain and find out advice, ideas, and some of the opportunities that are in this awesome industry. So, all right, we're going to get started. So I'd like to introduce our first group of panelists who will be familiar with those who have attended this forum in the past. So please welcome Rhonda Hamm-Niebruegge, Director, St. Louis Lambert International Airport; Darren James, Director, MidAmerica St. Louis Airport; John Bales, Director, Spirit of St. Louis Airport; Daniel Adams, Director, St. Louis Regional Airport; and Sandra Shore, Director, St. Louis Downtown Airport. Okay, so we're going to ask each of our panelists to share the latest news and updates for their individual airports, and then after that, we're going to open up to a Q&A session. So Rhonda, we're going to start with you. So if you don't mind, give us an update.
All right. Good morning. I'll try to get this in the 5 minutes allotted, but there's a lot going on. So first thing, I hope everybody has heard, but we do have British Airways coming April 19th with nonstop service to London Heathrow. Thank you. Something we've been chasing for over a decade, so really excited about that. And the Lufthansa flight has been very successful, and it's going to 5 days a week. So we'll have 9 flights into Europe going into this summer. So very excited about those opportunities. So take your reservations and go book it. With that, try to give everybody an update on where we're at with the potential consolidated terminal. So, this was broken up in phases. So the first phase was clearing our western part of our airfield with old facilities, relocating those and tearing down the vacant Missouri Air National Guard. The new airfield maintenance, $114 million project, broke ground a couple of weeks ago. It's about 18 months worth of construction. It's moving further west. The mowing, the Missouri Air National Guard, the fence is going up this week. Demolition's going to start in the next couple of weeks. The central utility plant and the western de-icing pad are under design. Those will be completed and out for bid next year. The second phase, that was $350 million. Second phase is $650 million, and that is for all the design teams. That is for the program management teams. It's for the construction management teams, and then some additional projects that we have to do in order to prepare for the potential terminal. We will be at 30% design of the terminal come January. The goal is to be at 60% design come June, and the end of the year be at the 90% design, which is the actual mark where the airlines give the authority to construct. We've brought construction management teams on board to work side by side with our design teams because it is a multi-billion-dollar project that keeps climbing. So we need to bring those costs in to get to that finish line. The construction management teams working really closely, and we will get a guaranteed price of this project. We do have to get authority at 60%, we'll get that guaranteed price. We do have to get authority from the airlines to move beyond the 60 and then ultimately the 90 for construction, but they're well underway. And I think what we're finding is that everybody in the region, whether it's the political world, whether it's the business community, whether it's the airport, the airlines, everybody's trying to get to that finish line, and we're all on the same page about let's pull together and take whatever we need to ensure that we can get across the finish line. So you are going to see a lot of things happening in the next few weeks. That's not the terminal construction. It's all of these enabling projects. And then in January, we'll start sharing what that 30% design looks like. You do have that original depiction out there of the dual-sided linear terminal. That is still the plan that we're looking at and the design we're looking at, but there's a lot of nuances to that we're getting into the 30%, which will really help people to get a better vision of what it's going to look like. So in a nutshell, that's the update, and we're excited about it.
That's a great job. Thank you so much. Darren. Darren, you're up next.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here to share a little bit about MidAmerica St. Louis Airport. In contrast to what Rhonda laid down, obviously we're a much smaller scale as a non-hub airport. So it's, our focus is very different. The focus is leisure travel. So we look at convenient, affordable, low stress environment is what we're aiming for to provide to our customers. We've had a relationship with Allegiant for about 13 years. They've been operating in our location. That is the only airline that works there. We have 12 destinations that they serve, and primarily into the Southeast and into the Las Vegas area as well. We are focused on other airlines last week, and you look at them as the value airlines or the low-cost carriers. We can't compete and try to bring in the majors or the legacy air carriers. So those are, the folks that we focus on are Avelo, Breeze, Sun Country. We met with a company called JSX as well. So looking to be able to bring in other opportunities to the airport so we can provide different modes or different airlines for folks to travel on. We've been very fortunate this year. Allegiant laid in a lot of additional capacity, so it's been a record year for MidAmerica St. Louis Airport. I'll give you an example. In the months of March, May, June, July, August, and September, we set records for enplanements. We expect the same in November and December. So as we look at the statistics in October, from this year in comparison to last year, was a 22% growth. If you look at from January through October of last year versus this year, it's a 27.5% growth. So we've been very fortunate. That puts us at about the 5th busiest airport in Illinois, which we're very proud of because we did move up one position in that status. So looking forward to the similar production in 2026. When we look at what's going on construction-wise, we do have some terminal modifications going on, not again to the scale that you see at Lambert, but right now we're building a general aviation facility and a federal inspection station. We have the ability to bring in aircraft up to 20 passengers right now in process for international travel. That facility is dated and doesn't meet CBP requirements, so we're building a new one. Right now, the general aviation facility is embedded in the federal inspection station. We're projecting that GAF will be completed in February of next year. And then that includes the shell of the federal inspection station. And then the next phase will be to finish out the federal inspection station, which will allow international air carriers travel in and out of MidAmerica. So we're excited about the ability to bring in, again, the focus will be low-cost carriers. If you look at the normal travel for vacation spots out of St. Louis, there's a lot of folks that go to Mexico, Cancun being a huge one, and Rhonda knows very well about that. So that is the area that we'll focus on. You can see the Caribbean, Mexico, and into the Dominican Republic is areas we'll look at. So that for the federal inspection station will probably be the spring of 2027 is what our projection is. Other projects we have going on, we have a terminal apron expansion that's in the works. It was led actually in 2024 by the state of Illinois. We're hoping to start construction next year. We're working on how costs may have shifted in that time frame. But that will add 3 spots to our terminal apron, and it'll be about a 15,000 square yard expansion. Beyond that, what's worth noting, construction-wise, it's not my project, but the St. Clair County Transit District, I think everybody's familiar, and I usually get questions about the MetroLink. So the MetroLink, so the light rail will connect Lambert to MidAmerica St. Louis Airport. Projections are that revenue passengers will start traveling in the summer of 26. So that project is moving ahead and making great strides. The other item I will highlight is our partnership with Boeing. Like Lambert, we are very fortunate to have Boeing on our airfield. The production facility that we have is for the MQ-25 Stingray. If you're not familiar, it's an autonomous air refueling platform that will operate off of aircraft carriers. And Boeing right now is expected to fly their first article in December. So I'll leave that to them if that changes, but that's the last I've heard. So we've started to see them doing testing with their first vehicle on our airfield within the past month, and the Navy is in place and ready to start that test overall. So I look forward to your questions coming up, and I'll just say I appreciate the partnership that we've had with all the directors. It is very close collaboration. Whenever something's needed, it's very easy to reach out to all of them. So I want to say thank you to them as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Darren. I think what's really interesting when we have the 5 airport directors up here, there may be a tendency for people to think that they're competing with each other. So they each have their own platform, their own target market. But the other thing is behind the scenes, there are hundreds of phone calls that are going between them their staff amongst each other, where they're supporting each other, helping each other, and we've got staff moving from one airport to the other, and that's a good thing. It basically means that when we have staff at some of the smaller airports, and we've got individuals who are wanting to get promoted up, they're not leaving the area. And it's because we have all of these airports working here. So appreciate that comment, Darren. Okay, Mr. Bales, you're up next.
Thank you. I'm John Bales, Spirit of St. Louis Airport. We're not an air carrier airport. We're a business aviation airport. I always like to point out we're a self-supporting, fiscally strong airport, but like every other airport, we have a lot of capital needs. So one of our main jobs as airport directors is looking for funding. We recently wrapped up our airport master plan, which is an FAA required plan. It's basically a 20-year broken into 5-year increments. I'll touch on a few of those projects. One that wasn't in the master plan is we have an airport service road being built right now. Why? That's not too exciting, but we're going to push that back and wait for funding. However, the good side of this story is we have a brand new development in an area that is not accessible by fuel trucks. So what we did is we partnered with one of our tenants and came a public-private partnership and self-funded that road. So the relationships are really important. We have a West Terminal project pending funding. We're hoping to see that. Our GA terminal is where Elite Aviation, our flight school, is, but what we need to do, this building is outdated, not ADA compliant, went through the flood. It's bad. It needs a lot of improvements. So if we get the funding, what we'd like to do is double the size of that building and double of the hangar space and the office space and make it a true general aviation terminal. Our main runway, right 26 left, she's coming up on the end of her useful life. So what we need to do is we're going to in 26 is do the design for that complete rebuild. We've got some ramp taxiway maintenance, looking at a new airport sign. Next 5 years, we have, as I mentioned, the construction of 8 right 26 left, milling of taxiway Delta. We have some runway safety initiatives that we're working on, our drainage system, and a couple parallel taxiways. In the midterm, 6 to 10 years, we're going to add a new taxiway Alpha 7. We go from 6 to 8 currently. Widen our main taxiway on the north side, and we look to widen and strengthen runway 8 left, 26 right, so we can handle a larger jet aircraft on that side of the airfield, and build a centralized de-icing pad. Excuse me. Some of our current developments, the one that we're building the service road for is called Sky Club. It's a very unique T-hangar complex. T-hangars are individual airplane owners have them. Most airports, smaller airports have T-hangars. Our waiting list, along with everybody else's, we have over 150 people on that list. And people say, why don't you build more T-hangars? Well, quite simply, the return on the investment's not there. And what they cost to build today, and the engineers could tell you, and what we can get in the St. Louis market, it doesn't make it feasible. But we had to come up with a plan. So we met with some aviators who were also investors, and they had been on waiting list at just about every airport in the region. They said, you know what, we're going to build our own. It's called Spirit Sky Club. I will tell you it's going to be about 4 to 6 times more per month than ours. But I will also tell you it's going to be about 10 to 20 times nicer. They're building 28 brand new hangars. So that's pretty exciting. Aviation Materials, one of our large maintenance providers, just finished up 90,000 square foot of hangar space for working on large jet aircraft. One more development that's going to be on the St. Louis County Council on Tuesday. It's a fairly large real estate opportunity for us. And again, it's a aviation and development company, and what they're going to do is they'd like to come in and build large individual owned aircraft hangars, so they'll be on lease ground from the county, but they'll sell the hangars either to high net worth individuals or companies that have one jet that aren't really big enough to have their own, but they want to own and they don't want to be in the group complex or the FBO. And one of my requirements was you need to work with the FBOs, not create a war, but create good feelings. So they're going to work with every FBO on fueling and ground services. They're not going to provide any of that. I have another tenant that is on the airport is looking to grow and expand, so we're in negotiations for some real estate with them. They also want to add an airport restaurant, which we haven't had. If somebody came to me and said, I want to build an airport restaurant, I wouldn't suggest it unless it's tied to something else. So that's good. Gateway Studios across the street, they're starting to tick off. We've seen a little bit of traffic, but they're still growing and they're not completely done yet, but we expect to see a lot of the stars coming in for that. Operations of fuel have been steady but strong, about 150,000 ops a year, about a little over 7 million gallons a year that we're a wholesaler of. which is a lot for a general aviation airport. Our Customs and Border Patrol, we went through the same exercise Darren is going through. We built a GF facility. It's very expensive, and they're very detail-oriented what they need and why they need it. But we clear about over 300 international arrivals a year at Spirit. Most people don't realize that. And as far back to the partner in closing is all of us work together. Even the small airports like Washington, but St. Charles County is a great example. Dennis Wist, they flood quite a bit. Each one of us will probably reach out to them and say, hey, have your customers come down here. We'll tie them down. We'll store them for free. We're not looking to steal each other's business. And I have actually worked with fixed base operators at other airports, and and we get it all the time. When let's say Rhonda's customers comes down and like, I want to lease land and I want to build this and I want to get that, and they're looking for a low ball deal. We don't play that game. I'm not going to low ball them, because what they're going to do is go right back to one of her tenants and say, here's what they're offering me. We need to keep the entire market strong. It's not about John Bales. It's not about any one of the other folks up here. We need to work as a unit. Also, people come in for businesses, and one of the ones that Darren had mentioned had come to me several years ago, and if it's not the right fit for me, for Spirit, for whatever reason, I'm going to say, go talk to Rhonda, talk to Darren, talk to Sandy, talk to Danny, because we all have our unique aspects. So it's sending others. And then finally, in closing, on the STEM issue, we have the Spirit of St. Louis Air Show in 26. We have the Blue Angels, a large STEM event. Come and see it. We're focused on STEM. It's going to be a great show. We've been planning that for 2 years. And the last thing I always touch on STEM focus is our Red Tail Cadet program, serving underprivileged youth, teaching them to fly. It's an 8-week immersive residential program where they come to Spirit on Sunday night, wheels up 8 o'clock every morning through Thursday, ground school in the afternoon. And at night, our community partners teach them life skills, financial literacy. And of that, we've had our 6th class. Our last class was our first all-female. And I'm really excited to tell you about a couple of the first students that went through. They weren't planning on going to college. Not at all. 2 of them, and one in particular, his name's DJ. He just recently graduated with a 4-year degree, a commercial license, and that was all paid through the Red Tail Cadet program. So, giving back to the community is important to all of us, and that's all I have.
We do like the restaurants.
You do. Yeah, restaurants, we don't make revenue on restaurants. They're a big revenue for their carriers.
All righty. Thank you, John. Danny.
Yes, thank you. So at St. Louis Regional Airport, over the last calendar year, we've seen a 40% increase in flight activity. A lot of that primarily due to the reintroduction of flight training at the airport, a lot more GA traffic, and Westar Aviation doing really well with their business as well, continuing to grow. With Westar, on top of that, their Westar Academy continues to do really great. They're on their 3rd class, which teaches 25 students at a time. The skills and characteristics and traits to become aircraft mechanics. So full-time employees, which transition into their workforce, kind of creating their own in-house schooling through a partnership with SWIC. So Westar doing really well. To accommodate some of Westar's business and growth and larger aircraft that they're bringing in for work, we're working on construction of a $1 million taxiway Bravo rehabilitation, probably likely to start next spring. That will take the existing asphalt out and replace it with concrete. Full width strength, capable of supporting the larger aircraft that are coming into Westar more frequently now. Along with future construction, the FAA is still interested in constructing a new air traffic control tower facility at the airport, fully funded by the FAA. Talks are still progressing with that. We signed ground leases with them here the last few months, so we're continuously working on design plans with them. Elsewhere at the airport, we've kind of really taken a focus and interest in the community involvement and community events. We continue to host our annual fly-in and car show event each September. This past year was the 29th annual, which really brings out the community. And in collaboration with that, the EA Chapter 864 based at the airport, they put on a really good Young Eagles Day, which they fly kids for free. Local youth can sign up and get an introduction to flight, aviation. I think that's pretty neat. More exposure, the better. So we're continuing with that one, looking for the 30th annual event to happen next September. And next June, we're also excited to host the Air Race Classic, which is an all-female piloted air race. Flies a different course each year. And we were selected as the host airport for 2026. So we're looking forward to having about 60 aircraft, maybe 120 participants descend upon the airport and the region for about a week of festivities and fun and briefings and weather planning and all kinds of things before they take off on their 4-day, 2,300-mile journey. So really looking forward to that one and partnering with a lot of community groups on that one as well. So last thing I got is, you kind of already heard it already, but the collaboration amongst the airports up here, it is truly a thing. It's not just made up. I've reached out to each of them numerous times on different occasions, whether it's for airport tours for a class that I might teach, or for help with maintenance, or vetting contractors, whatever it might be. Each one of them have helped me in one aspect or another. So there is great collaboration amongst the airports on all different levels, I think, even from tenants as well. So really building up the aerospace industry in the St. Louis region because of that, I feel. So that's what I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. And I think you can see the theme, it's collaboration, but the other thing is they keep talking about expanding and growth, which means you're doing a really good job for setting us up for the second panel discussion as far as how we're going to fill all these jobs. So Sandy, we're going to have you wrap this section up.
Well, I promise to stay on theme with growth and collaboration. We continue to see our aviation and aerospace businesses be successful. We had a jet management team build a new hangar facility. We have a flight maintenance expanding their services and moving into a bigger facility. You've heard it before. We have the second largest Gulfstream footprint in the world. They recently invested $30 million into their facility to expand, added 200 jobs. And to the sense that Mary was speaking, we're able to fill those jobs thanks to the region and the collaboration. And another theme you'll hear here is that when we talk about these expansions, it doesn't come without infrastructure improvements. Darren built a taxiway, Danny built a ramp for theirs. So we as well have a large capital improvement program that we're working through. We just finished the rest of our airport access road, which serves those Gulfstream jobs, nearly 700. We recently secured 3.6 million with an M. I always say, I'm not on Rhonda's level either, to rebuild our general aviation terminal. So we look forward to hopefully starting that next summer. And then the last thing is we're trying to work through a much larger, sorry, Danny, Bravo taxiway project. We've about 16 million have been bid out. We've started the first sort of preparatory phase, which is about 2 million, getting ready to start a $14 million phase, and we'll end up somewhere between 25 to $30 million in the project. And then on theme with collaboration, Mary likes to tell the story of when she hired me. She had John help her out because she wasn't necessarily an airport expert. So I want to thank John for the job. Best job I could actually. Ended up calling Danny in the middle of an ice storm for some help with runway chemical. Darren's team helped me with some painting projects and some things with that. So next I'm just going to call Rhonda for a flight to Europe. So let's see what we can do for me. But yeah, so I just want to thank them all, and we continue to collaborate. And because of that, the success of the aerospace industry in St. Louis is really the product of that.
Okay, for the record, it was John Bales and Darren. He was in there as well. I tried to get Rhonda, but we actually had a conflict because we had somebody from her office who was also interviewing for the position, and that's a good thing. So for all of our students, again, love that you're interested in this industry, and the career opportunities are right here in our backyard, basically for your entire career. So, all right, you guys did a fantastic job with giving that snapshot of all the great growth that's going on in this area. And we've got a couple minutes. We're going to go ahead and open it up to any questions that our audience may have. If you have a question, we have a microphone we would like for you to use. And if you don't mind providing your name and your organization.
Thank you. Appreciate the update. My name is Dean Dittmar. I'm the Executive Director for the St. Louis Agribusiness Club. Maybe a dumb question, but I guess I'm going to ask the question. What percentage of your airports is cargo versus human travel? Or do you have those statistics?
We do, and the cargo's been growing, so it's about 4% actually of the total market, so we'd like it to see larger. If we look at where we were 5 years ago, it was only 2%, so we have been growing cargo, and it's been a focus for us, especially with our runway infrastructure. Where we think that's really going to be helpful is with the add of the BA flights, because on the Frankfurt flight, we've got 11 positions that are allocated on that A330. It comes in full every flight. Going out, not so much. And so we still see the trucks heading to Chicago with freight that could go on. The challenge is with 3 days a week and no other backup into Europe, if something happened or the freight can't get on, then they're stuck for another day, or they have to still go to Chicago. With them going to 5 days a week, with the BA flight coming in, that's going to be the Dreamliner, the 787. We should have a nice influx of cargo coming in on that as well. We are hoping that with the freight forwarders, we're really going to see that outbound pickup now that we've got 11 flights a week going in. 9 flights.
So 4% across all 5 airports.
Just for Rhonda.
Okay, we're going to do each one. Okay.
Yeah, we're 100% passenger travel. So no cargo. There's no belly cargo. They go in Allegiant aircraft. So the focus is completely 100% passenger.
So we don't have the heavy cargo Lambert has, but we have cargo every single night. It's pretty much light stuff, a lot of medical stuff, which is kind of included cargo. We're talking Learjets, Aero Commanders, but it's a very small percentage, probably less than 1%. And one thing that I failed to mention, our main job, we run transportation hubs, but it's really about economic development and job creation. That's what really we're all here for.
Okay, I want to go back to Rhonda's 4%. It's kind of a big deal. And I've got some of my logistics friends in the audience, and Pete, I'm looking at you. And that's when you talk to these logistics companies, they are embracing that cargo in the belly of those commercial planes that are going with the international flights, the flights that you take for vacation or for business. Below that, there's that cargo. And when that happens, that helps these logistics companies. It opens new markets and hubs. And I was such a novice when I talked to Pete about this last year about that. And that's like, oh, so that opens markets in that community of where that plane is going. He's like, no, wrong. It is a hub. You've got these spider legs that are going all throughout that one country and the adjacent country. So it really is having a significant benefit to us. And obviously with the future, with these flights that she's announced and with the new airport, we're hoping that we're going to continue to be able to supply flights like that. So great question. Any other questions? Pete. Hold on.
Pete Johnston, All States World Cargo. We are a freight forwarder. Mary is another sales rep with the company. With the new one terminal, do you see an increase in gates and all lift?
Yeah, so the new terminal, we designed it with up to 62 gates. We probably won't build 62 at the beginning just because of the price. But currently what we have are 44 gates that are leased by the airlines. We have a commitment for 47 leased gates in the new terminal. So the 10 or so additional to that will end up being city-owned gates. We'll have opportunity. Gate shortage is not an issue with us, right? So the challenge comes if you're on a flight and one of the airlines doesn't necessarily want to use somebody else's gate today, but we will have common use gates as well in the new terminal for some sections of it. So I think if we think about just the opportunity for growth, it's there. I mean, whether it's cargo aircraft, whether it's passenger aircraft, a little bit of challenge on the pure dedicated freighters. So the UPS, FedEx, Amazon, and Amazon just added another flight last week, which we were thrilled about. That tarmac over there, that ramp is pretty full up when they're all in space, and there's really not any more space available in the building itself. 100% of that building is leased. So we would like to either see additional cargo flights that are spread throughout the day on those dedicated freighters, or look at the opportunity. DHL, we bring over and they park on Romeo pad. We don't even use the other side of the airfield. So the gates are going to be ample for growth. There won't be any issue with being able to grow either on the passenger or the cargo, but the cargo ramp has got some limitations right now.
Okay, Very good. Alrighty, I want to thank our panelists for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today, your energy and your support of the industry. So thank you so much. Let's give them another round of applause.